In this video, let's look at my 2023 NBA playoff predictions, which team will have an upset in my opinion, and what it takes to win a championship, and so much more. But before we do, let's light them up. Oh so fresh, oh so smooth, it's your boy Eli back with the groove, and today we have our playoff bracket predictions. And without further ado, let's get right into it. I want to start in the East. At the 1-8 matchup, we have Milwaukee versus Miami, and this one for me is pretty easy. I'm taking the Bucks. The question is in how many games. I mean, I feel like Milwaukee will definitely win a game, but I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't. So I got Bucks in 5. Next up, we have the Celtics and the Hawks, which is going to be the 2-7 matchup. And this one is pretty easy as well. I mean, I don't think the Hawks can win this game at all. Trae Young, they're just simply too small. And in all their matchups, I think it was 3 of them in the season series, Boston won them all 3 times. And I don't see them winning this series, but I do think that they'll be able to get a game. So I'm also going to be taking Celtics in 5. Now, Nets and Sixers. The Nets have been playing really well. However, the Sixers have also been playing great for themselves, and just because the Nets don't have a star to really lead them, although if you want to consider Mikal Bridges a star, you could, because he's been playing like a star, but I don't think they have enough to be able to make it out of the first round. But I do think that they'll take this series to 7 games, and they're going to lose that 7th game because they're going to be in the 76ers stadium. So I got the 76ers in 7. So next up, we have the 4-5 matchup. That's going to be the Knicks and the Cavaliers. Now this one is really tough for me because I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm a New Yorker, and everybody here in New York is definitely very high on the Knicks. But the Cavs have been playing great, and they're right there as far as competition goes. Julius Randle, I believe he's injured right now, and I'm not sure when exactly he's going to be coming back. But if they don't have Randle in this series, they may or may not win this. I'm really torn on this one, guys. I don't know who's going to win this one, but my gut is telling me that the Knicks will make it out the first round this year. So I'm going to go with the Knicks, and I'm going to take them in 6. Because if it winds up being a game 7 and they go to Cleveland, I don't know if they'll be able to get that done on the road. So now let's look at the first round in the West. And at the 1-8 matchup, we got the Nuggets and the Timberwolves. This is pretty easy. I don't even need to explain much of anything. The Timberwolves do not have what it takes, and there's no way Jokic and the Nuggets are going to get bounced out the first round. So I got Nuggets in 5. After that, we have the Suns and the Clippers. This one, again, is also pretty easy, and the reason for it being so easy is Paul George is out. He's been out for a little while. We're not sure when he's coming back exactly. I would say Paul George being out affects this team offensively and defensively just because of how much of a force he is. And he might be able to come back, but he's definitely going to miss like the first 2 games. So for that reasoning, and also even if they did have Paul George, I don't know if they'd be able to compete with the Suns offensively. I'm taking the Suns. However, I don't think this series is going to be as easy as some of you guys might think, so I'm taking the Suns in 7. Next up, we have the 2-7 matchup, and that's going to be the Grizzlies and the Lakers. The Lakers have been playing so well recently. Before they even got into this play-in tournament, they were 8-2 in their last games, in their last 10 games. So they've definitely been playing great basketball, but they're not coming up against any team. And the Grizzlies are getting to the point where they have experience now in the postseason. This is not going to be anything new for them. So yeah, they're young, but they now have an experience level that they didn't have, say, 2-3 years ago. I think Ja Morant will be able to take this team and lead them to get past the Lakers. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if LeBron finds a way to get this team past. So as you guys can tell, I'm really torn on this one as well. I'm not sure who to pick, but I do think at the end of the day, it's going to be a parade inside Jaws City.
It's a parade inside my city, yeah!
But I do think that when we finish this series, it's going to wind up being a game 7 situation. And I think that the Grizzlies will win that game, considering that they're home. And I don't think they can afford to be bounced out the first round with the way they've been talking. So for all those reasons, I got Grizzlies in 7, and I know you Lakers fans are going to be mad at me, but I will say if the Lakers make it out of this first round here, that wouldn't come as a shock to me either. Next up, we have the 3 and the 6, and that's going to be the Kings and the Warriors. Now, we know the Warriors are pretty bad on the road. I've said it several times already. I just do not think that they can lose this game, and I don't think they can afford to get bounced out the first round. But I don't think it'll get to 7 games, because if it does on the road, that would be really bad for the Warriors. But this one is pretty easy for me, as I see a sweep. Now, there might be a little bit of bias in that. I am a Warriors fan, but this is going to be the only sweep that I can see in the first round, and I got dubs in 4. So let's head back over to the East. We got the Bucks and the Knicks, and this is going to be a matchup that's actually going to be pretty easy for the Bucks, but I can't actually see the Knicks putting up a big fight against Milwaukee. But at the end of the day, I think it'll go, I don't know if they could force 7 games, but I think the Bucks will probably shock them at home and they'll win in 6 games. So I got Bucks in 6, and they'll be heading on to the conference finals. Next up, we're going to have the 76ers and the Celtics, and this one is pretty interesting just because they both are very competitive teams, but James Harden, he's just not the James Harden that he was before. He's not as energetic, so to speak. I mean, he's getting older, and he's just not the James Harden that we're used to. He's not putting up the same amount of points, and I think he'll be a big X factor in this series, but to depend on him to help Joel Embiid for at least 4 games and get that done, I don't think it's going to happen. And Boston, they have so much to prove, and they're really going to be trying to get back to the finals. So I think that Boston is going to go ahead and beat this 76ers team, and I got Boston in 7. So with all that, that means that we're going to be having a Bucks Celtics Western Conference Finals. Now this is going to be very interesting. Throughout the season, when these two teams have played, the Celtics have won the majority of the games, and I don't know if that'll change. Chris Middleton hasn't necessarily been looking like himself, and he kind of looks slower. I know he's missed a lot of time throughout the season. I don't know if Chris is in shape to get this done and to help Giannis, because Giannis alone is not going to be enough to put up with Boston's defense, which is still one of the top defenses in the league. So, but at the same time, Giannis is such a force. I don't know if he'll even allow this Celtics team to stop him, but his stamina, will he get tired? There's so many factors that go into this, but my gut's telling me to take the Bucks, so I got the Bucks. Especially since the Bucks have home court advantage, that's a big thing for them, so I got Bucks in 7. So the Bucks will be heading on to the finals, and let's move back over to the West. We got the Nuggets and the Suns. This one is very interesting. Kevin Durant and the Suns, I think that they're going to get this done against the Nuggets. I just think that Jokic will get really tired, and his stamina's not that good at all. In fact, when you look at Jokic's percentages, how well he plays by quarter, it drastically goes down by quarter. So if there's ever overtime situations, that's basically a win for the Suns. And we know that the Nuggets offense runs through Jokic, so for that reason, I got the Suns in 6. Then we'll have the Warriors Grizzlies. Not much of anything is going to change from last year, despite what you guys might think, but this is definitely going to be the most fun series heading into the second round, if it comes to be true, because we know how the Warriors and the Grizzlies are. They're always ready to talk, always ready to scrap, always ready to fight. But this will definitely be a very interesting series, but I don't think that the result will be any different than last year. The Grizzlies are going to be humbled once again, and the Dubs are moving on. I got Dubs in 6. So with the conference finals, we got the Golden State Warriors and the Suns. This is going to be very interesting. I think the Warriors are going to be winning this one. I think this is going to be the point where the Suns they just simply get humbled. The Warriors are going to take care of business the way they always do as the postseason comes around. They tend to turn things up at the right time. Everything's looking good for them. They got Gary Payton back, Andrew Wiggins. And the Suns, they're pretty good themselves. But if there's one guy who I would trust to try and guard Kevin Durant, that would be Draymond Green. And since we have Draymond Green and we have Gary Payton, we also have somebody who can really lock up Booker at the same time. And if we have Curry out there at the same time, I feel like we can find ways and exploit weaknesses as we tend to do in series and win this series. Now, I know a lot of you guys are going to disagree with me here, but it's not anything outrageous I'm saying. After all, we're talking about the defending champs, and I got them moving on. So now we have a Bucks-Warriors finals. The Bucks are such a big team as far as Brook Lopez goes and Giannis goes, and the Warriors are literally the smallest team ever. But because of how well they shoot the three-point ball and the type of defense they could have, even though the main players that are going to beast and feast is probably going to be Giannis and Brook Lopez, I think that the Warriors will find a way to get this done, and they won't do it in 7 games, but they'll do it in 6. So I got the Warriors winning the championship, guys. Let me know where you think I went wrong. Let me know if you think I'm 100% right. Let me know whatever you think in the comment section down below. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. It would mean a whole lot to me. You guys can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and even Twitter as well. All my links will be in the description. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time, let's light 'em up.